Hello and welcome to our Fire Escape. This is our new YouTube channel tracking our journey to financial independence. We have created this channel in order for us to track and report on our own 12-month FIRE challenge, and we plan to make monthly net worth updates as well as weekly videos on various topics along our journey to keep you all informed as to how we are getting on. All with a view to help share information that we ourselves have learned across our own journey and to show people who are listening that there are options and other pathways to become financially independent. We've thought about setting up a YouTube channel for some time, having watched many YouTubers tracking their net worths via journeys and vlogs of their travels. We've certainly gained a lot of knowledge and ideas from watching these various videos, so we wanted to contribute to our own journey to this pool and hopefully inspire some other people to replicate or at least challenge the ideas that we ourselves are putting in place to achieve our challenging 12-month journey. In this video, we will be discussing our 12-month plan in detail and its challenges. We will also briefly discuss our net worth, introduce our long-term retirement plans and our own FIRE definition. So to kick off, we're a married couple, 41 and 38, living in New South Wales. We have 2 children, both under the age of 3, both working in full-time construction work and with a combined salary of over $300,000 per year. In terms of how we've arrived at our 12-month challenge, we've taken what we've learned about the FIRE movement and created our own plan to suit our own particular circumstances and our own needs. This plan has changed many times over the last few months as we've grappled with what is our end goal and what exactly it is that we plan to achieve. We started off initially with what was a 10-year plan, then that changed to a 5-year plan, it changed to a 2-year plan, and we've settled on our current goal of a 12-month plan. The 10-year plan was our original goal, and that involved our investment properties and continuing to build our portfolio and use that as our retirement vehicle. Our 5-year plan was to sell all our properties within the 5 years, convert them to shares, and also involved buying our personal place of residence outright. We then formed a 2-year plan, which still involved selling our properties within the 2 years, converting those into shares, but instead of buying property outright, retaining mortgage on our personal place of residence. And then as we looked at the numbers and played around, we realized that we could still retain the properties over the next few years while just building up enough funds to pay our bills over the next 4 years. So creating a bit of a hybrid plan between the 2-year plan and the 12-month one, where we sell after 5 years, still convert those to shares, but in the meantime we just have enough to pay our expenses over the next few years. And this would also involve buying a personal place of residence but retaining a mortgage on that rather than paying it outright. So the change from our 10-year plan to our 12-month plan really has come about from our learning a lot more about FIRE and understanding our own options, including the properties and also the current circumstances where we feel over the next few years there's going to be quite strong growth in property. So we want to try and take advantage of that rather than selling up and missing those opportunities. It's important to understand that our own risk profile may be very different to yours, as well as our goals and our current circumstances. So everything we are sharing here is for information purposes only. We are not registered financial advisors. Please do your own research, understand your own goals, your own risks, and look at your own options and pathways to your own financial independence. So looking at our current position, we currently have a property portfolio that includes a total of 6 properties, 5 of which are held outside of our SMSF and 1 is held inside our joint SMSF. The SMSF is our self-managed super fund. For the purposes of this 12-month challenge series, we won't really go into detail of our SMSF much because we can't access that for at least another 20 plus years anyway, so it doesn't really form too much makeup of our next few years' decisions. I should note that we are pretty comfortable with what we already hold within our SMSF, and that in 20 years' time, when we can actually access it, it will have grown into a nice vehicle on its own. We may do another video, a separate video, going into a bit more detail about our SMSF, how we set it up, why we decided to do it, what we hold within it. If you're interested in that, let us know in the comments. As well as our properties, we also hold a small share portfolio that we only really started to build around 12 months ago, and there's currently around $60,000 in that portfolio. We also have about $18,000 in cash and a cryptocurrency portfolio currently valued at around $240,000. In total, our current net worth is about $1.4 million. Our current FIRE net worth, which only includes liquid or potential income producing assets, is about $1.1 million, and our target FIRE number was $1.6 million. One of the reasons we were quite late into FIRE is because although I'd heard about it quite a while ago, I was always under the impression that it's a very frugal movement. But one of the things we want to show is that you don't have to live absolutely frugally to make it work. Our current annual expenses are over $90,000 a year. We eat out way too much. We have holidays. We toyed with the idea of selling up all our properties and putting the money into index funds after coming across the FIRE movement early in 2020. The issue we felt with this is that it was putting all our eggs in one basket and went completely against our original financial independence plan through property investing, which we still believe is a valid way to achieve this. The difference was that once we came across FIRE and index fund investing, we realized that we could create an income using the 4% rule. I won't go into the 4% rule or the rule of 25, as there are tons of videos out there and information on this already. Suffice to say that it seems a fairly common rule, and if you are interested, please look it up and understand it. But just the concept of this alone completely opened up our eyes and our outlook and our available paths ahead of us. By delaying the selling of our properties for 5 years and just saving enough to cover us for the next 4 years, there's a real risk of us starting eating into our capital. Obviously, this isn't ideal. However, this should be mitigated by the increase in value of our properties over the next 5 years. Ideally, we'd find a way within those 5 years to be able to retain our properties and hold them longer. And to make real money in property, you would typically want to hold them for 2 cycles, so 7 to 10 years each cycle, 20 years. They should be worth 2 or 3 times their initial value. This is a very general rule, obviously, and can be very different. So as I say, our current plan is to sell in 5 years. If possible, hold longer. Hopefully within the next 5 years, or during the next 5 years, we can also find a way to keep building our share portfolio to a point where it can sustain us without having to sell our properties, or at least not having to sell all the properties. Time will only tell if that works or not. The fallback though, and our current plan, is that we sell all our properties in 5 years, put that money into index funds and use the 4% rule going forward. Another thing to note is all our current figures do assume that we don't earn any other income over the next few years. And one thing that becomes very apparent the more videos you watch is that the vast majority of people end up with some sort of income generated through blogging, vlogging, part-time work, or whatever it is. There seems to be a way of finding an income without going back to a 9-to-5 job that you don't really want. And I think this is just the reality of retiring so early. You'll find something to do because you'll probably be quite bored otherwise. The difference being, it's probably going to be something you actually enjoy doing. So our long-term retirement plan to build up our share portfolio by selling our properties. One of the reasons we settled on the 5 years to sell is because that gives us one full property cycle, as we've already held them for a few years, and this assumes a doubling in value over 7 to 10 years. Again, I'm not going to go into this in this video, but if you're interested in property investing or our current portfolio, how we built that up, let me know in the comments and we can do a video on that. If you've managed to get this far in the video, please leave us a comment, let us know what you think, what you like, what you don't like, what we can improve on. Press the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications of our future videos, and thanks for watching. So to get back to the main driver of our current strategy, the fact that we already hold a number of properties really picked a direction for us, and this is where our plan will likely differ from a lot you've already come across. With record low interest rates likely to remain for the next several years, coupled with a perception of growth over the next few years, just purely due to the amount of money being printed currently. So we are banking on the fact that in 5 years' time, our properties will have continued to increase in value to the point where we can reach our $1.6 million FIRE number. So what actually is our 12-month challenge? So we are currently in January 2021 at the time of this video. By the end of January 2022, we want to have 4 years living expenses saved. The first 2 years at $40,000 a year is assuming we're going to live in the Philippines for 12 months, then Malaysia for 12 months, and do various traveling around in those regions. And the remaining 2 years at $65,000 a year, assuming we return back to Australia. So that's a total of $210,000 for 4 years expenses. Our current circumstances is that we are renting. We've got about $128,000 in personal loans and credit card debt that we need to pay off within these next 12 months, as well as wanting to save for a deposit for a house in North Queensland. So to sum up where we are right now, we recognise that we have a high risk profile. Coupled with that, we have high paying jobs. If this all goes to pot, we're quite confident that we could go back to the workforce. So for us, the risk versus reward weighs very much in our favour. We know this is a very ambitious and aggressive plan, 12 months to be able to quit work, be financially independent, travel, do everything we always wanted to do. But it's also a great opportunity for us to do this. So thank you for watching our video. If you're interested, you've liked what you've heard, please leave a comment. Let us know what you think, give us your feedback, and hopefully you can follow us along our journey, and maybe we even inspire some people to do a similar thing. Again, don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the bell for future notifications of videos that are coming up. Thank you.